Hey everybody, thanks for clicking. Today we're going to do a quick blade swap on our, this is on our Hustler Fastrak, but it's pretty much the same for all of these zero turns or even like regular mowers. Just kind of quick and easy, what we do, how we do it, and let's get it going. Here is the machine. Like I said, this is a Fastrak Hustler SDX, but most zero turns are all pretty much the same. 9 out of 10 of them are 15/16 bolt size underneath here. Some of the smaller machines have different. We just did a spring cleanup that, left us with some crazy shrapnel under here. So we have to pop these blades off and we have to clean up these spindles. Let's get going. All right, here's basically what you need. You need a good floor jack. I use a little block of wood, give me just a bit of extra height underneath there. And I'm a little old school, so I still use an air impact. But if you don't have an impact wrench, they're really affordable. Check out the description, I'll put a couple in there. It will just make your life so much easier than trying to get under there with a big ratchet in a block of wood, and it's just kind of a nightmare. Get yourself an impact wrench. Like I said, this one is a 15/16 socket, as most of them are. And let's get these blades off and take a look at them. Okay, so we have the blades removed. We had a little debris underneath there. Like I said, we did a spring cleanup. This isn't normally like that, but sometimes you get a little leftover debris. So make sure the underneath of your deck is clean. I'm gonna try and flip this camera. I hope the angle doesn't get too crazy for you, but it's clean underneath. That is one advantage of spring cleanups, is the sticks and the leaves really clean off the deck from the buildup grass. So we're good there. Now we're just gonna go ahead and reinstall the new blades. We're still going with the gator blades. Still early spring, so I like the mulchers. Middle of summer, we usually go with the high lift blades, but these are sharpened. They're ready to go on. Let's install them. All right, so I usually set up like this. Rule of thumb. So fins, I call them fins, thumbs, whatever. Thumbs up. Make sure the up part always goes towards the bottom of the deck. I just put the bolt. These have a washer. Some do, some don't. And that way you know if the bolt is in, that the blade has already been checked and it's installed the right way. I know it sounds a little silly, like, oh, who could put the blade in upside down? Trust me, it happens. Not often. I always like to double check, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. Just remember, fins up. So when you take a final look, check them and make sure they're all up, because boy, it sure cuts funny when one of them's down. Let's put these over here. Now again, when you install your blades, you have to make sure especially like the John Deere tractors, they have a key. I don't know if it's not a keyway, it's the blade fits in. These are flat. So the blade literally just bolts to the bottom of this. There's no where it fits in, but make sure if you have that blade type that you put the blade on correctly and you hand screw the bolt in all the way up, because sometimes I've seen people, they put the blade on, they put the bolt, they tighten it, and it's not centered correctly. And then you'll get an awful wobble, vibration, and the blade can loosen up and fall off. So be sure when you do that, you do it right. I'm gonna go ahead and put one in now. Okay, so I've installed the blade and I hand tightened the bolt all the way up. So now this blade is in there. Like I said, there's no recessed area where the blade fits in on this machine, but make sure that if you do that, it is in there correctly. These are not timed blades, so it makes no difference which way the blade is spun. They don't all have to be lined up. It's a belt-driven system. They randomly will just move wherever they want to. It doesn't make a difference. So let's get the other two installed. These two are installed. I have to go around the other side for the third one, but these are non-greasable hubs here. So if you do sometimes a grease fitting, like on our Ferris machine, they have a grease fitting underneath. Sometimes they have a grease fitting on top. If you do have a grease fitting, definitely grease those spindles because they can last you a lifetime if you take care of them. Okay guys, so they are in, they are tightened up. Like I said, it doesn't really matter which direction the blade is. I kind of put them all in the same direction to start with. That way when I look, I can make sure that all of the lift part of the blades are up towards the deck. Like I said, this one doesn't have it just goes flush. But if you look in the end screen, I'll have one of the John Deere's that has the set, sorry for a lack of words, the way the blade goes in. But they're all on there, they're changed, they're tightened down with the impact. Deck is cleaned, it is ready to go. And there she is, ready to go, ready to mow. New blades, sharpened, tightened, deck's clean. It's really important if you take the time to clean it and make sure the blades are on there. You don't have to go crazy, but make sure they're not damaged. And that's it, folks. That's as easy. It's really, like I said, if you don't have an impact, check out the link in the description. Pick one up because you'll use it for a lot of other things too. But if you do any bit of maintenance on your mowers, just makes life so much better. So check that out. And it's really that easy. It's not a big deal. I can also leave some links in there for blades. Amazon has some great options for blades. You don't need to go crazy and spend a fortune on any kind of super fancy blades because trust me, it doesn't make a difference. Any of you guys with this, a lot of the lawn tractors also have what they call a mulching kit, which is, it's kind of like a circle within the blade and it helps lift and remulch. But if you have that type of deck, it's really important that you clean the deck underneath all the time, especially if you cut any wet or damp grass, which let's face it, it happens all the time because you get that buildup in there and it gets really ugly. Like I said, you'll probably see in one of the end screens right here, the John Deere service, and that one's a great example of what happens underneath the deck there and how important it is to clean it out. So check out the links in the description for all the products. Thanks for watching the video. We really appreciate it. If you like this kind of stuff, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, do all that other fun stuff. Peace, everybody. Thank you.